Greetings, hello, hello, welcome on in, Unoptimized Fool from the closet. Glad you could be here. Listen, let's talk about 11.1.7. Now, obviously, we just got a deep dive from our favorite developers. Got caught up there, and we're going to talk about. Now, obviously, I have a deeper, dive videos coming out on the channel this coming week about certain things inside of 11.1.7. But this is kind of a general overview if you're under a rock and you haven't seen all the good news about 11.1.7. So we have an official name for 11.1.7. It's the Legacy of Arathor. Right? Now, if you know lore, Arathor was one of the original people that united the tribes of the Arathi Highlands, which it wasn't called then back then, but in the Arathi Highlands, that's what kind of united the tribes over there. Again, that's a very generalization of the lore there, but that's kind of where that comes from. Now, we're going to be focusing obviously on the Arathi, and we're actually going to be going into the Arathi Highlands, and we're going to be having a campaign there. So, again, I love this. I have no spoilers here, just kind of general overview. I don't know what the story is. Obviously, it's on the PTR because the PTR is out, by the way, and we're going to be going back to Arathi Highlands, doing a campaign there. And again, I love that. I love going to older content, older stuff on Azeroth, and experiencing it, and also expanding it. Right? BFA was really good for that, where we got a big upgrade to that zone because of the war front. I think that's what it was called. I've tried to break that from my memory there, and it's just good to go back to these old zones, and hopefully eventually we start doing this a lot more, right, with these small patches. Again, I like new zones, don't get me wrong, but I love going back to old zones, seeing the story expand and kind of advance in that zone, right? Now we have a new system for Warlock or Cho, right? This is going to be repeatable lore, right? And this is going to be the three quests are going to be one about Xal'atath, one about the Lich King, and I believe there's one about the old gods. Again, this is going to be mostly for catching people up. Again, there's a lot of new players. Every expansion sees a new player. Imagine joining now in War Within and not knowing anything since 2004, right? That's a lot of lore that you don't know. So with lore, obviously we have time walking to kind of facilitate that. But with Warlock or Cho, we're going to be going back and obviously learning the major storylines. The Lich King's still very important. Xal'atath is very much important, and the old gods are very much important. So it's kind of filling people in, and also it's just a good way to kind of experience some stuff. Again, there's no power tied to this. It's just mostly for the casuals to get some lore dump. And honestly, I'm going to play through it at least once because it's just cool to see maybe some new things, maybe some new breadcrumbs will be dropped in these stories, or just seeing the story and kind of, getting a refresher, right? Which is cool. Then we have this new Overcharged Delve system coming in, where it's obviously going to be a little bit harder than 11 Bountiful Delves. And what's cool about this is you can unlock, now again, there looks like there'll be some borrowed power system tied with this. It's a little bit confusing. A lot of people are still on the fence about it, if it's even real, right? There's a new belt piece that will be upgradable through these Overcharged Delves. Now, again, we don't know if we can only use this belt inside of the Overcharged Delves, or if it's going to be like the Circe's ring that dropped in Siren Isle. Now, obviously, we've already had borrow power in this expansion with the ring, and still best in slot for most classes, especially for my Arms Warrior. Now, obviously, do I know if this is going to be best in slot for things? No, it's in the PTR. But Overcharged Delve, it's going to be a lot harder. You can unlock cosmetics, and obviously, there's going to be a nice Titan panel that you can upgrade things with to make your experience in these Overcharged Delves a little bit more enjoyable. And of course, on the map, you'll see them be normal delves with like electricity around them, which is pretty cool. Of course, we have the Combat Assistant, which I made a video about that. It's going to help you with your rotation. And we also have the single button rotation that's now being added in for accessibility. Again, not enabled by default, so people who complain about this just don't use it, right? I have a dedicated video about that, which is already out, so definitely check that out if you want a little bit of a deeper dive, obviously. Then we have the Greedy Emissary event. Now, this is an event that's already come out when Diablo 4 was launching. I believe it was either Diablo 3, that was Diablo 4, excuse me, was launching. They had the Greedy Emissary event where we would farm this little creature that comes out, and we would get some cool things. Now, this is coming back, a little bit more revamped, and it's actually giving us T2 recolors. So tier 2 recolors, right? The 20th anniversary gave us remastered tier 2. Now we're getting some recolors from this event, which is pretty cool. Again, no new gear, it's just recolors, but hey, more content for us to soak up and a little bit more reason to farm it. Because honestly, last time it was, I believe it was just a mount and a couple of like cosmetics that you had to farm, but it really didn't take much time. And of course, too, we also have, there's a lot of content here. We also have some legacy farming, I guess, what's it called? Buff that you have on. Basically, it increases your legacy drop rate on certain items, and we don't know if it's for only mounts, titles, we don't really know much about it, but basically you get this buff, you either get it from the emissary event or it's just going to be part of the emissary event. You go into legacy content and you're, say for example the drop rate's like 1%, it increases maybe the 2 or 3, we don't know the percentages yet, but again, legacy content is from normal vanilla up to Shadowlands, right? Actually, I think it's Shadowlands, right? Dragonflight and War Within is not legacy currently, by the way. And then the last thing, of course, is now we have new time walking. BFA is finally joining the rotation of time walking. We obviously have a new time walking vendor, which will give you BFA items, mounts, cosmetics, all that stuff. So that'll be cool. We also have Turbulent Time Waves coming back, which BFA will be the first time walking event for that as well. So there's tons of content, and guess what? The PTR is already out. Again, this is a general overview video of everything coming out 11.1.7. No details added in this video, but obviously in the next coming days on the channel, you'll be seeing deeper dive videos of some content that I want to talk about, right? Some of this is self-explained, right? Doesn't need a deeper dive, but some of it needs a deeper dive, and that's what that video is going to be about. But thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let me know what your favorite thing that you're looking for. I'm actually looking forward to BFA time walking. I love BFA dungeons. I don't think any expansions had bad dungeons. I mean, some obviously with story and progression, but the dungeons are always pretty good. So I'm looking forward to BFA time walking. But Unoptimized Full from the closet. Thanks for coming in. I'll see you guys next time.